So in this class, we're going to be introducing us to content creation. We're going to be having an in-depth knowledge or a general overview of what content creation is all about. And then we're going to be talking about the types of content. That's for our first class, which is today. Meet your instructor. I already said my name is Emanuela Odofi. I'm a Nigerian female entrepreneur. I'm well versed with online coaching. I'm a social media manager with expertise in written and graphics content. I'm an intermediate level video content creator. I'm a personal and business development coach. And then in the offline space, I'm a baker and confectioner. And of every social media platform you can think about, I'm most active on Facebook. I'm present in all of them, but I'm most active on Facebook. So you will find me on Facebook as Emanuela Udolfi. Now, what is content creation? Next. There is a broad view of what we are going to be talking about, because what some of us think that content creation is not all that it is. So, as the slide reads, it's generally referred to as a process of generating material for various media. It can have different definitions depending on the context. Now, talking about the digital space. In the digital realm, content creation involves you producing, sharing information through different online platforms. I mentioned earlier Facebook. Many of us are familiar with different social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and what have you. So if you're talking about digital media, talking about content creation in the digital media space, then these are the ones that we're referring to. We also know of blog posts, videos, podcasts, and the rest. We're going to be treating this in details later on. Now, in the marketing space, content creation is developing materials like articles, like images, like videos as well, to engage and attract your target audience. That means that we are trying to sell these people. So what you are presenting to them in selling your market is what content is the content. And the process of doing that is content creation. So you see somebody in the market, maybe the person that is selling pure water, oh, buy cold water, buy pure water, buy pure water. That's content. That's what the person is using to market his or her water. Or your favorite customer who is selling maybe wares just comes to the main road. Buy two, get one free, or get your shoes here for 115, and all of that. That's content. Even though it's not in the online space, but it's through a media. The person is talking, you're listening to the person. It's a marketing content. Next, please. Now, the third one is artistic expression. We're talking about here artists who either write scripts for maybe movies, or write scripts for songs, or draw. Content creation in their own field is crafting of the original works. There are people who are into ghostwriting. That's they write for other people. So when you read a particular work, you feel that it is for somebody, whereas you wouldn't know that it has been written by another person. So, but what is important is that the information that that person is passing through the writing, through the movie, through the music, is note that the person who wrote those things has created content for the purpose of an artistic expression. The next one is educational content. Here we're talking about those in the educational sector or the schooling industry. So everything that they put together to pass knowledge onto their students or pupils, talk about lesson plans, talk about videos that they put together to enhance learning, especially people who use Montessori method of learning. The tools, the play tools that they bring together to enhance everything that they put together to enhance effective learning of the students, of the pupils. You can refer to them as educational content. And then in the web development space, everything that you find on a website, on a functional website, are contents that have been created by a web developer. So in different aspects that I have touched from 1 to 5, you find that there are different types of content, there are different forms of content, there are a lot that are peculiar to each of these industries when you talk about content creation. So it's not just what we do on Facebook or what we do on Instagram or what we do on TikTok and all those alone that we refer to as content. Next, please. So because of the nature of our school and what we are learning particularly, we're going to be treating content creation in the digital space. We're going to be strictly teaching content creation in the digital space. Now, what is content? Please, at any point, if you can't hear me anymore, please, somebody should just raise either a hand or indicate in the chat section. Now, what is content? I say that content is basically what you feed your audience. It's like food. What do you give them? What do you give them that makes them stay good?
Emanuela, please, we can no longer hear you. Okay, please, I think there's a technical issue. So in a few minutes, we'll get back to the class. So, but if you have any question, the chat box is open. You can drop your questions, and we'll do all to respond to them.
Okay, sorry, so, apologies
back.
about that. Thank you. Like I said, content is basically what you feed your audience. So it's like food. When you give people food, for one reason or the other, they keep coming back to you. Even Jesus in the scriptures, apologies to those who are not Christians here, when he started feeding thousands of people, people were coming. They started following him more and more because of that. So in the online space, content is food. It is what you feed your audience that makes them stay glued to you. Now, what type of food do you give them? Do you just serve what you feel like, or you feel you should serve only quality? Because in the digital space, the quality of content that you serve, that's the quality of food that you're giving your audience, is very, very important. Next, please. And so that brings me to types of content. I said, what quality of food do you serve? When we're talking about types of content, I'm sure that as I'm going to be talking about them, those of us who are active online would have come across each of these type of content at one point or the other. The first one is educational content. Is this type of content this type of content is supposed to educate or enlighten your audience. It does either of the two, or it does both at a go. Now, you can either educate them on your product or service or anything related to those two, or your personal brand. For people who build personal brands in the online space, that's especially coaches. For instance, you teach people about personal development, you teach people about business development, or you teach Facebook ads, or all of those things. Those are your services, even though they are related to personal brands. There are people who teach computer even in the online space. Now, everything that you teach or that you write about or that you post about that is supposed to enlighten your audience is an educational content. Now, I'm a baker. I can decide, if you go to my Facebook, you will have seen a lot of things relating to baking. But if I want to do strictly an educational content now, for instance, I can either do a video teaching my audience the importance of eggs in baking, or I write a content about why baking powder cannot be used the way we use flour in baking. Why baking powder cannot be used the way we use flour in baking, because of the chemical components and all of those things. That is an educational content. I can decide to talk about why, when people say, oh, your cake is too sugary. Sugar is part of cake. If you don't want to consume sugar at all, don't even near cake. There are so many things that sugar does in cake, apart from being a sweetener. So I can decide to write on something like that to educate my audience, because what I'm writing about when I do that is going to help them understand my business more. It's going to help them understand what the industry entails more. Oh, so when somebody talks about cake being sugary another time, somebody who has read that kind of content that I wrote can categorically tell the other person, oh no, did you know that sugar is not just for sweetening in cakes? Oh, sugar does this, it does this, it does this, it does this. You know, that way the person has been enlightened, and in turn is enlightening another person. So that is an educational content. That's an example of an educational content. As somebody who makes hair, you can decide to educate people on your wall on how to take care of their hair, whether they're wearing a natural hair or they're wearing a processed hair. Or, for instance, if your own aspect is wig making, for instance, you can teach people on your space how to take care of their wig so that it doesn't get spoiled on time. Maybe for those that are coily, how to revamp them. That is an educational content. You can either use written text, or use videos. All of this we are still going to be talking about later on. But I want to believe that by now we already understand what educational content is all about. Next, please. The next one is motivational content. I think you missed it. Go back, back, back. Yes. The next one is motivational content. It's the type that you share strictly for the purpose of motivating your audience. Like I said, it could be results you got from using a particular strategy. It could be a process that you used in achieving that thing. For instance, some people don't know how to bake with stove or gas. I mean gas cooker now, not your oven. Some people don't know that even if you don't have an oven, you can still bake and bake well. Prior to my own training as a professional baker, prior to my training as a professional baker, I didn't have an oven. Way back when I was in school, I used to bake with my stove, and my cakes don't burn. Some people don't know how to achieve that. So if you have done it and you have documented the process which you used in achieving that, you baked with your stove or with your direct gas cooker and your cake didn't burn, it is something you can share. It motivates somebody who wants to go into the cake industry, but is being held back, for instance, by maybe the cost of oven in the market currently. Either you're buying a fabricated oven or you're buying electric oven or whatever you want to buy, whatever type of oven you want to buy today is quite expensive. However, you shouldn't let that stop you, because you can bake with your direct gas cooker or with your stove and still achieve a very good cake. So if you have done something like that and you have documented it, you can share it. It will motivate that person who is being held back to start somewhere, to start small, irrespective of where the person is. So that's an example of a motivational content. You're either sharing, like I said, the results you got from using a particular strategy, or you are sharing the process involved. So anything that works for you, that you know that you can share, you know that there are some things that you do either in your personal branding business or in the products and service that you offer, that is like we call it trade secrets. They are trade secrets. So you can't share, you can't possibly share them. But the ones that are shareable, just like the example that I gave, why not? You share it, because like I said, it's supposed to motivate someone. And then one thing you should keep in mind when you're sharing content, whatever form of content is that, you're talking to one person. Address it like you're talking to one person. So the goal is that one person should be educated if you're sharing an educational content. The goal is that one person should be motivated if you're sharing a motivational content. Don't feel that, oh, my audience, they don't need this kind of content. No, let your audience be the one to decide whether they need that content or not. Yours is to share, as long as it aligns with your values, either your personal values or your business values. That also depends on the platform where you're sharing your content. I hope we're still following, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
All
ma.
right. Next, please. The next one is inspirational content. Actually, you can interchange inspiration and motivation. However, inspiration is, you can still say, like I said, you can say inspirational content or motivational content, but inspiration is meant to encourage people. It's usually intertwined. I already said that. However, you may not necessarily share your results or processes when you're talking about inspiration, or when you're writing an inspirational content, or when you are posting it. It must not necessarily be written. It could be somebody else's story, like I already said, like I put there in the slide. It could be somebody else's story. It could be maybe an audio book that you listened. You decided to share the lesson that you learned from that book, or you read a book, you decided to share what you learned from that book. You are inspiring somebody else. Maybe you watched all these short videos that people post on TikTok and Facebook Reels and Instagram and all the rest. And then it inspired you. It stirs up something in you. So you wish to also share with your audience. Then you also share. So that is strictly to encourage people to keep doing what they are doing. The results will come, and all those kind of things. So I believe that many of us at one point or the other have come across inspirational content, either written or graphics or videos or audio. Next, please. The next one is entertainment or funny content. You could also call it humorous or humor content. what exactly is it supposed to do? Just as the name implies, it's supposed to entertain your audience, it's supposed to make them relax, it's supposed to make them laugh, so that they know that you are also a human being like them. Like you're not a robot, you're not AI without feelings. So you understand that from time to time, people need to relax their muscles. There are a lot of skits, there are a lot of memes that people share, there are a lot of jokes that people share that when people read, they don't have option, no matter what the person is coming online, or when people read, when people listen, or they watch, no matter what the person may have been facing that brought the person to the online space and then comes across that kind of content, the person will automatically feel relieved because he or she would laugh out whatever he or she may be facing and then feel a bit of relief. May even be inspired to maybe share that problem with somebody or something, or may even through that funny content get a solution or part of the solution to whatever the person may be facing. So that's what humor content is all about. I believe I don't need to start citing examples. However, for people who are into personal branding, most times it's not every kind of joke, every kind of video that is funny or audio that you share in the online space, especially to the public. You may want to restrict such videos or content to maybe your WhatsApp, not the more global ones like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the rest. So now, to be able to achieve what you want to achieve with entertainment content, you need to be able to sieve it out. You need to be able to understand. You need to be able to define your personal values appropriately so that that will inform the kind of content that you share on your timeline or on your platform, whatever platform you are using. Remember also that each of these content, you shouldn't have one more than the other. Thus, you shouldn't let, for instance, humor content overshadow your educational content or your inspirational content or your motivational content, because people will start seeing you as a clown. So you need to strike a balance. I'll be talking about that, I think, next week when we start talking about content strategy. You need to strike a balance between your content, the way you put them out. Maybe you need to draw a content calendar for yourself, and all of those things. We continue. Next, please. Here we have perceptional content. This is basically what you see. Okay, no, what you understand from what you see, or what you hear, or what you feel. It's how you interpret the information that your senses give to you. For instance, like I said, trending topics. When something happens and everybody is talking about it, like the issue that happened with Davido and his wife, where they lost their son, I think last year or 2 years back. The way people were talking about it, some were saying this one is careless, some were saying they use the boy for ritual, and different things like that people were saying. I think there's a recent trend now, Mrs. Bliss and the lady he proposed to. I think there was another one before then. The lady on Twitter, Debbie, who says she wakes up at 4 a.m. to prepare, 4:30 a.m. or whatever, to prepare food for her husband. When you come into, and when you just come online, you see that this one is talking about it, this other person is talking about it, this other person is talking about it. Everybody is talking from what they perceive, from what they think is right, from the way they understand whatever has happened. Personally, I don't discuss trends on social media. especially not on my Facebook. Maybe I could just joke about it on my WhatsApp, but on Facebook, I don't do it because whether you like it or not, some people will agree and some people will not agree. However, when I find people who share such trends, who share posts about such trends, sometimes if I actually have something to say about it, I make comments on such posts, but I would not share it. I would not write about it personally on my own timeline. It's just not my thing. The same thing with politics. When you find that election is coming out, people will start writing different things. I don't do it. I'm indifferent about those kind of things. Now, I'm not saying be like me. I'm saying that this is what perceptional content is all about. So when there are trending issues like that, you find people writing what they feel, what they think, what they understand about this thing in different, some write even more than once. Some post video, people will start making skits with those things, turn it to entertainment content, and all of those things. So that is what perceptional content is all about. Next, please, is interactive content. Now, this is supposed to help you to understand what your audience thinks about a particular thing. Maybe you are seeking their opinion. You have just written an ebook and you've asked your designer to design, or maybe you're even the designer yourself. You have designed like 2 or 3 covers for that ebook, different ones, but you're confused about which one to choose. Then you just post it online. Oh, you can even tell them the inspiration behind those designs. You can write the inspiration about those designs, then you put the pictures and tell them to help you choose A, B, or C, or D, if there are up to 4. That's an interactive content. It is expected that people will naturally respond to that. Of course, that depends on how active you are being on those social media platforms, wherever it is. It could also be a video, it could be written text, it could be a quiz, it could be a puzzle by asking them to solve. All these things could be, they are usually in relation to your brand, your product, or your service. Maybe you have designed a new package for your chin, for instance, and then you're asking them between the old package and the new package, which one would you prefer? Like recently, I changed my logo and I was asking my audience the old or the new. Of course, a lot of people chose the new one because something inspired. The only person that chose the old one, I had to tell the person the reason I had to redesign the logo. And he was happy that there was a reason behind it. There's something that propelled me to action. And what I explained was actually captured in the logo. So he understood. He didn't have any option other than to also vote for the new one. So that's interactive content. I think with that, we have talked about the different types of content that we have. Next, please.
Okay, before we go to the next slide, uh, the attendance sheet, has been sent to the message box. So I want everybody to go down to the message box and go and fill the attendance. So the procedure for the attendance, you write your name, your full name, your application number, your country, and you select your department. Please, this class is strictly for students under content creation. Thank you. So go to the comment box. You will see the link. Use it to fill the attendance. Thank you, everybody. So instructor, you can continue.
Thank you, Mr. Silva. Now, how do you feed your audience? We've talked about the quality of food, which is the quality of content that you give. In what types are they? How do you expect them to consume it? Now, in what form? The first one here is written. I'm not going to be elaborating on this because this is what we are going to be discussing on Friday. But I just need you to have a little idea of what I'm talking about because I'm going to give you assignments as regards this. So as I said, in what form are you giving them the food? Is it in written form? In written form, as you can see, we'll talk about social media posts. I've been mentioning all of these forms as I spoke all the while. Blog posts, articles, ghostwriting, website posts, ebooks, and all the rest of them. Now, visual, we talk about picture graphics, video creation, animation, vlogs, and the rest of them. Then audio, podcasts, voiceovers, music, and the rest of them. Then we talk about the traditional forms. That's the ones we have on radio. Actually, this is not supposed to be a form, but I just put it there because many people feel that when we're talking about content creation, we're just talking about the online space. I believe that by now we all understand that it's not just content creation is not restricted to the online space. What you meet every day in the market, how people advertise their market to you and try to drag you to come and buy from them and all of that is part of content. So before the online space, before the internet, people have been doing content. We all have been engaging in content creation. We read newspapers. All those things in the newspaper is content. If it's not there, there will be nothing for the newspaper companies to sell. All the news that we find in the newspaper is content. The same thing, all the programs and whatever that we listen to on radio is content. They're audio content. And then the ones we watch on TV, all those dramas, those TV programs, that they do. The ones we've been watching right from when we were children, all the cartoons and the rest, they are content. They are video content. So you can actually remove that traditional aspect, but I just put it there so that we understand that prior to the online space, content creation has been in existence. We have all been engaging with content every day. Next is your assignment. So in your assignments, before the slide comes up, like I said, prior to now, we have all been engaging with content. But number one is, what type of content have you been sharing on your social media space or social media platforms, and why? The second one, on what platforms can you find the forms of content that I mentioned earlier? So we talk about video content. On what platforms can you find video content? Talk about written content. On what platforms can you find written content? There are some platforms that some forms of content do not thrive on them like the other. Let me just cite an example. For instance, Facebook. Though Facebook is picking up now in terms of video, but you will agree with me that you rather go to Instagram or TikTok to watch videos than watch them on Facebook. Though many content creators are now adding Facebook, that's video content creators now, they're adding Facebook to their list where they create video content. But you'd rather go to Instagram and TikTok to find video content than to find them, or even YouTube, than to find them on Facebook. And some of these other platforms, some of the creators on these other platforms even link their videos on the other platforms to Facebook. Because Facebook was designed originally to embrace written content only. So some forms of content thrive on some platforms more than the other. However, it doesn't stop you from answering whatever you want to answer in your assignment. So please just go ahead do the assignment, and submit. You're expected to submit this assignment tomorrow so that you can be graded before the next class. Now, the last one, according to your brand, product, or service. That's if you have a personal brand now, or if you have a business brand, whatever you're doing. One, you're going to write an educational content. Two, you're going to write a humor content. Three, you're going to write an interactive content. Each of them has a word limit, not more than, not less than, or greater or equal to, if you want to use the mathematics one. So the first one, 100 words, it can be a bit less, but not more than. It can be a bit less, but not more than. So you write your educational content, your humor content, and your interactive content. Sorry, that was a mistake. Your interactive content, according to what you do. So it means that in your assignments, I'm going to be getting to know some of you or most of you beyond your names, because your content will help me know you more, will help me know your product or your service or your brand, whatever you stand for, more. And with this, we've come to the end of today's class. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming to class. See you in the next class. But before we leave, of course, I'll take questions.
Okay, so we can proceed to the questions. If you have any question, please indicate by raising your hand, and I will identify you and call you by your name. So the first on our line is Chukwebuka Victor. So go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you, sir, and thank you very much, ma, for the lecture. It was very, very good. Okay, my question is
Please, I can't hear you very well.
okay. I say thank you, ma, for the class. It
All
was
right.
very
Okay.
interactive and educative. Okay, ma, my question is as regards the assignment you have been given. How are we to submit it?
You are going to be given a link.
Okay, regarding the
You are going to be
assignment,
given a link.
we are going to be sharing a Google Meet, Google Drive link, or we will be sharing an upload link from the website where you registered. We will share a link, then you can upload your assessment there. Then the instructors will have access to it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No, Pascal is raising his hand. Elizabeth is raising her hand. And Taiwola.
Elizabeth, you can ask your question now.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, Mark. Thank you for the class. Okay, so my question is, some of us were not able to join at the beginning of the class because I don't know, maybe because we didn't update our Google Meet app, so I just had to do it. So we have missed a part of the beginning of the class. Is there a way we can have access to it, sir, ma?
Yes, the class is being recorded, and the link will drop in your class, in your group. That's in your WhatsApp group, so you can watch it.
So, Nana Pascal, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, sir. Sir, please, sorry. I want to ask this question. Prior to the number 3 assignment you gave,
Okay.
the content or the personal brand you said each of us has, must it be, were you giving us option to choose either educational content or humorous content or interactive content, or we have to write the
No,
3 all at once?
you have to write all.
Wow. So, like, your service or your brand must have this in one way or the other.
Yes, I
Okay.
mentioned it already in the class that
Okay.
you shouldn't have one type of content overshadowing the other. You can't be all
Yes, sir.
serious. The entertainment content is supposed to let people know that you're also a human being, right? And you're not,
Yeah.
it's not all, what do they call it? All work and no play. Makes Jack a dull boy. Give them something to relax their mind when they come to your page as well. Not every
Okay.
time you're educating them, you're inspiring them. Let them relax too. So it means that you should have something funny to share to your audience at each point in time. Maybe you want to do it once a week, you want to do it twice a week, you want to do it once a month or twice a month. For instance, on my personal profile, I do Throwback Thursday. I just go into my archive and search for one of my old pictures. I just snap and post. And I may write a story behind that picture, or I just put something funny. If I hear pim, and everybody will start commenting, pim, 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 pim. You know, it's
Okay.
just something.
All right. Thank you.
I hope you understand.
Yes, ma'am.
So Matthew Hillary, ask your question.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so I think proud to what Miss Elizabeth or Mrs. Elizabeth, the question she asked, just for people that that was having issues with their network earlier, please, is there a hard copy for this, or probably maybe all of this, aside the recording, maybe it will be dropped in the content creation group that was created?
Mr. Silva.
Okay, the material will be sent alongside with the video when we are sending it before the day runs out. So after now, the media department will work on the video, make sure it's all organized, and it will be sent alongside with this clip. That's the slides. It will be sent alongside with it.
Taiwo.
Good afternoon, ma. Thank you for the
Good
class, ma.
afternoon. Welcome.
My question is regarding the assignment. How many are there? I think I got only the last part, which is the writing the content about the educational human interactive for the assignment. I got one.
It's right there on your screen.
Okay. Then
Or you want me
second,
to explain it again?
no, not explanation, ma.
Okay.
I mean, how many are the assignments? Is it 2 or 3 or 1?
That's 5 in all.
There are 5.
Or
Okay.
yes, that's 5 in all.
So I will see them on the screen after now.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
secondly, they were trying to. I didn't get the link. I think for the attendance, I didn't get it.
It's in the chat section.
Okay, that'll be all.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Gift Chinasharam, your hand was raised. Ask your question. Okay, for people that are looking for the application number, we sent it to your email. Your admission letter, the admission letter you got came alongside with your application number. So go back to the email. And I also noticed that some people use their phone number, which is not supposed to be so. Your phone number is not your application number, and your attendance is void if you are using. Please go to your email. Look for that email that said congratulations, admission congratulations. That was where we sent. I made sure that all emails were sent out. We have about 150 students that registered, and everybody got an email. So either you go to your spam box, your spam box, or you go to your inbox. You will see there either your spam box or your inbox. So for this challenge, I'm going to share the attendance link on the content group so that people that are having difficulties can join and can fill the attendance. Okay. Then also the link to submit the assignment will also be sent to the group. The video will be sent to the group and the slide as well. So we are sending out 3 documents to the group. That's the link to the assignment, the link to the class, and also the link to the slide. So I believe that answers all the questions. If there's any other question, you can ask. So Hilary, I can see your hand is here up. Ask your question.
If you raised your hand before and you have been attended to, please put down your hand. Unless you're asking a question again. Thank you.
Okay, I believe we all are okay, and I also know that this class was productive. So I think this will be the end of the class for today. Thank you so much, everybody. And if you have a question, the group will be opened from now till 4 p.m. The group will be open. Go ahead and ask your questions.